Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video we are going to be making this little Frankenstein monster. He is 100% no-sew until we get to adding his ears, his little brow, his little bolts, and then the little bit of embroidery on his face. So we'll be making his two arms first, and then we'll be making his two legs and working all the way up, sewing the arms in as we go around, and then moving up onto his head. For this video, I will be using a number 4 medium weight yarn, 12 millimeter safety eyes, and a 4.25 millimeter hook. This is a crochet along, so I will be doing every stitch with you, and I will be also providing a drop down at the top of the screen for the first 30 seconds of every row for you to follow along with. And don't forget, if you enjoy this video, please hit the subscribe button. Not only does that help me out, but you will also be notified every time I load a new video. Okay, I think that's everything. So grab your yarn and let's get started. Alright, you can start any way you want, the magic ring, chaining 2, whichever way you prefer, as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1. And what I do is I like to fold my yarn in half. I make a little knot over my finger with a loop on the end, as if you were going to chain, leaving just enough space for the amount of stitches that I'm going to put in. And for the arm here, I will have 6 single crochets. Then you're going to insert your hook. Oopsie. Grab your yarn, pull through, and chain 1. And that does not count as a stitch. All that does is attach your yarn to your loop, and then you're ready to start row 1. So for row 1, we're going to put 6 single crochets into that loop, going over the tail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you're just going to pull your tail to close up any hole you have. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for row 2, you're going to do 6 increases. So that's 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around for a total of 12. So increase 1 and 2. Oopsie. Sometimes that first one's hard to get in there. Increase again. 3 and 4. Increase again. 5 and 6. Increase again. 7 and 8. Increase again. 9 and 10. And increase one last time. 11 and 12. Rows 3 and 4 is just going to be 12 single crochets all the way around. And I'm just going to do that consecutively. So 2 rows of 12 is 24. So I'm going to count to 24 and flip my marker when I hit a set of 12. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's my first row of 2 rows. I'm going to flip my marker and keep on counting. Yeah. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. For row 5, we're going to put his thumb on, and that I do what I call a 3 double crochet cluster stitch, and then we'll do 11 single crochets after that for a total of 12. So for the cluster stitch, in the next stitch, you're going to be doing double crochets, but not quite finishing. So yarn over into the next stitch, grab your yarn, then you're going to pull this yarn through the first 2 loops and leave that last loop on the hook, and you'll have 2 loops left. You're going to do that again, yarn over in the same stitch, grab your yarn, pull up and through, grab your yarn and pull through the first 2 loops, and now you should have 3 loops on your hook, and you're going to do that one more time for 3, yarn over into that same stitch, grab your yarn again and pull through the first 2, and you'll have 4 loops on your hook. Now you're going to grab this yarn again and you're going to go through all 4 loops. And there's your little cluster or puff, or I'm not sure what it's called. And now we're going to do 11 single crochets, and I'm just going to count consecutively. So our thumb was 1. Our next one will be 2. And you might need to pull that tight to let it puff out. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 brings us back to our marker. For row 6, we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 8. But when you get to the last stitch, do not finish that off because we are going to change color. So 1 single crochet and 1 decrease for 2. Single crochet for 3, decrease for 4, 5, decrease is 6, 7, and a decrease for 8. And you're going to leave it with the 3 loops on the hook. You're not going to pull through and finish the stitch. Now you're going to grab your next color for the shirt, and we'll tie that on. Okay, so all you're going to do is knot that 2 or 3 times nice and close to where your hook is. So I usually do mine about 3 times. And then you'll cut off your hand color. All right, now you'll just grab that new color and pull it through to finish off your last decrease of the last row. For rows 7 to 14, you're just going to do 8 single crochets all the way around, and that's 8 rows of 8, and I'm going to split that into 2. So I'm going to do 4 rows, and I'm going to count to 32, and then I'm going to do another 4 rows counting to 32, and just flip my marker every time I hit a set of 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to flip my marker and keep on counting. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and flip my marker again and keep on counting. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, flipping my marker again, keep on counting. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So that was my first 4 rows. So I'm going to start at 0 and count to 32 again for my other 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, flipping my marker, keep on counting. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Sorry, I've been crocheting with the plush yarn and I'm not used to going back to number 4 here, so I'm a little slow. So that was, I flipped my marker, keep on counting. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, flipping my marker and keep on counting. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32. Okay, now we'll add some stuffing to this guy. I'm going to take my marker out. Now we're not going to add a lot of stuffing. What we want to do is we want to make his hand kind of on the firm side and then his arm not quite as firm. So what I like to do is I take a small amount and I split it in half, just kind of guessing how much one arm will be and then kind of making the same amount on the other side, so both my arms are the same, and then I set that over to the side, and then I'll split this in half, and one piece will go into the arm and one piece or into the hand, and then one piece will go into the arm. And I learned a great trick from one of my viewers to use your scissors when you're trying to stuff in a thin narrow piece, and I'm not sure why, but well, usually it works really good. There we go. So if you have your scissors handy, give that a try. And then you just want this to kind of go from the hand up the arm, kind of even. All right. And I'm not sticking that in too far, just kind of at the opening there. And we're going to put our hook back in. And we're going to fold that. And we want to go 3 single crochets across. So we're going to go in our next stitch on this side through both of those V's. And then on the last stitch on the other side through both of the V's. And we're just going to do 3 single crochets across. So 1, and then in the next stitch 2, and then in that last stitch 3. Pull it tight if you need to, and then tie it off, leaving a little bit of a tail. So if that was your first arm, I will put a timestamp in the next frame so you can go back and do your second arm. And if you have already finished your first arm, just keep on watching and we will continue on to the next part. All right, grab your shoe color and make your loop or a ring or however you prefer to start. I'll be making my knot with the loop on the end. And if you're doing it my way, you're going to need to insert your hook, grab your yarn, pull through, and chain 1. Remembering that does not count as a stitch. That's just attaching your yarn to your loop. And for row 1, we are going to do 6 single crochets into the loop. Remembering to go over your tail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for row 2, we're going to do 6 increases. So that's 2 single crochets, and you have every stitch all the way around for a total of 12. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, and our last increase 11 and 12. Row 3, we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. So 1 increase, 2 and 3, and then just repeat that around. So 4 increase, 5 and 6, 7 increase, 8 and 9, 10 increase, 11 and 12, 13 increase, 14 and 15, 16, and your last increase, 17 and 18. Row 4, we're going to go in the back loops to give them a bit of a flat foot. So instead of going down through under both of the V's, you're going to go down and out the back loop of that V. So row 4, back loop only, 18 single crochets all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Row 5, you're just going to do 18 single crochets all the way around. Oopsie. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, what's happening to me today? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Row 6, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 12, but don't finish off that last decrease because we'll be changing our color to the pant color. So 1 single crochet for 1 and a decrease for 2, and repeat that around. 3, decrease for 4, 5, decrease for 6, 7, decrease for 8, 9, decrease for 10, 11, and our last decrease for 12. And we're not going to finish that off. We leave those 3 loops on the hook, and we're going to change our color. So again, nice and close to where the hook is. I'm going to give it 2 or 3 nice tight ties. I think my camera is too far out, because why am I tying this with my arms all the way out? One sec, let's see if this is a little better for me. Okay, so we're going to cut our shoe color. For me, that's the brown. And then you're just going to grab that new color and pull it through. Oh yeah, I think that's going to be way better. All right. Rows 7 to 12 is just going to be 12 single crochets all the way around. And I'm going to, that's 6 rows. I'm going to split that in half. So I'm going to do 3 rows of 12, which is 36. And then another 3 rows of 12 to 36. And just flip my marker when I hit a set of 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and I'm going to flip my marker and keep on counting. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, flip my marker and keep on counting. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36. So that's my first 3 rows of 6. I'm going to start counting at 0 again to 36 for the next set of 3 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, flip my marker and keep on counting. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, flipping my marker and keep on counting. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36. And that will be your 6 rows of the pant leg. And if this is your first leg, you are going to slip stitch in the next stitch, and you're going to tie that off, leaving yourself a little bit of a tail, so when you join your legs you can sew in the little hole that's left behind. And I'll be putting a screenshot in the next frame so you can go back and do your second leg. And if this is your second leg, you're just going to leave it like this. Do not cut this string, because we're going to use that, and we're going to continue on joining the legs and working up to the body. Okay, so now we're going to join the legs. So you're going to take your second leg you made, and you're going to grab your first leg, and you're going to insert your hook just in front of that slip stitch that you made. So right there. And you're going to do 12 single crochets around this leg, and then you're going to do 12 single crochets around this leg for a total of 24. And your main goal here is to make sure you have 24 stitches all the way around. So pull that nice and tight. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Should go right about under the knot where you made that tie. And now you're going to go over to the other leg, find your last stitch, and you're going to go in the next stitch from there and do 12 single crochets around the other leg. Oops. You want that string on the outside so you have access to it later. This tying string here. Alright. So into the next stitch on the other leg, you're going to do 12 single crochets around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And that will bring you all the way around. Now we're going to grab our stitch marker and we're going to mark that stitch. And for row 14, you're going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. And if for some reason you didn't get 24 here, you're going to make sure you have 24 on this round, even if you have to do an increase or a decrease when you get to the end. So make sure you're going in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Brings you right to your stitch marker. And if it didn't, just this is the back here, so just fiddle right here, do an increase or a decrease so you have your 24 single crochets for that round. Row 15, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, and an increase for 4 and 5. And then just repeat that all the way around. So 6, 7, 8, and an increase, 9 and 10. 11, 12, 13, and an increase, 14 and 15. 16, 17, 18, and an increase, 19 and 20. 21, 22, 23, and an increase, 24 and 25. 26, 27, 28, and our last increase, 29 and 30. Row 16 and 17 is just going to be 30 single crochets all the way around, and I'm going to do those consecutively, so 2 rows of 30 is 60, and then I'm just going to flip my marker when I hit my first set of 30. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, whoopsie, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I'm flipping my marker and I'm going to keep on counting. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, and 60. Oh, hold on. We need to take that last stitch out because we need to change to the t-shirt color. So your last stitch, number 60, you're just going to start it and then have your 2 loops on the hook, and we'll pull the new color through once we tie it on. Okay, so tie on your shirt color nice and close to the hook a couple of times. And then I'm going to cut my gray off. Make sure you cut the right color. So I've done that before. Cut the wrong color. And then you're just going to pull that new color through to finish off the 60th stitch of the last row. And for row 18, 30 single crochets all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Row 19, we are going to be going in the front loops. So instead of going down and under both V's like you normally do, you're going to come under the first part of the V and then up, and that will be front loops. And then you should have a line in the back here of the back loops as you go around. Okay, so for row 19, 30 single crochets in the front loops only. So get down and under in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and just make sure you're doing it right and you're getting those the back loop stitches, because we're going to need those for the next row. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, oopsie, 28, 29, and 30. Now we want to try and fold that ridge we just made down, and we are going to do 30 single crochets in the back loop all the way around. So these loops are what you want to be going through right now. And make sure you get the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if you can kind of hold that down as you go, this will be a lot easier for you. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and this 30th one is sometimes hard to find. I think it's right here. 30. Rows 21 and 22 are just going to be 30 single crochets all the way around. So you want to get in that first V right there. And I'm just going to do this 2 rows of 30 consecutively and count to 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. And if for some reason you did not get 30 and you made some kind of a mistake down here, just fix it here with an increase or a decrease. I'm going to flip my marker and keep on counting. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, and 60. All right, we're going to start decreasing now before we get to the arms. If you need to stuff yours now before you get any further, you can stop and do that. I need to wait until I'm almost done the neck before I get stuffed, just so I have a little bit more space while I video. So row 23, we're going to do 3 single crochets and 1 decrease, and repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. So 1, 2, 3, and a decrease for 4, 5, 6, 7, and a decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, and a decrease for 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, and a decrease for 24. Rows 24 to 26 is just going to be 24 single crochets all the way around, and I'm going to do all 3 rows at once consecutively. So 24 times 3 is 72, I believe. So I'm going to do 72 and then flip my marker every time I hit 24. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, flipping my marker, and I'm going to keep on counting. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, flipping my marker, and I'm going to keep on counting. 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, and 72. Row 27, we are going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. So 1, 2, and a decrease, 4, 3, and feel free to do invisible decreases if you'd like. It does make a difference. 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, 8, and a decrease for 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for 15, 16, 17, and a decrease for 18. All right, now we're going to add the arms. You should be where I am. If for some reason you're not, what you want to make sure is you fold your guy in half. And your arm is going to be 3 single crochets, so you want to find a side stitch and 2 stitches on each side. So that's 1, 2, and 3 stitches. So your arm is going to start right there in that stitch right there. So your first amount will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's what I have in my for my next row. But if you have 6, that's okay, or if you have 4, and then you'll just follow along the pattern and then finish off with single crochets at the end. So there should be 6 in the front, 6 in the back. So I'm going to have 5 on this side, 1 on this side, and then 3 in the arms on each side. Actually, I'll just mark that just in case, so you can see what I mean if you're not where I am. I think that's only ever happened to me once following my own pattern, so you should be okay. All right, so for row 28, and I will separate that across the top as I'm doing it instead of having just one drop down at the beginning, so it's easier for you to follow along. So we're going to begin with 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and yours is different. You could do another stitch or less stitches. So this is where your arm's starting, where you have marked. And then you're going to grab your arm, and you want the thumbs facing the front. So this is your back where your stitch marker is, and this is your front. So your thumbs and your strings will be facing the front. And you are going to go in the first stitch of your arm under both of the V's, and in the next stitch, that's where you just were, in the next stitch of the body, and you're going to do 1 single crochet through both of those, and then you're going to do a second single crochet through the arm and the body, and then your third through the arm and through the body. Then you're going to do 6 single crochets around the front, so make sure you're in the next stitch. That's where you just were. So in the next stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then grab your second arm, making sure that your strings and your thumbs are pointing to the front and not the back. And you're going to go in the first stitch, and you're going to do 3 single crochets across like you just did. In the next stitch of your body, 1 through the body and the arm, or arm and body, 2, and 3 through the arm and the body. And then I should have 1 stitch left here, and if you have the same amount as me, if you had to adjust on this side, you'll have to adjust on this side. I keep forgetting about the color changes. We're going to start the head now, so I'm taking that last stitch out, and I'm just going to do it halfway so we can do a color change for the head. So you'll be grabbing the same color you did the, I'm assuming that you did the hands in. And you're just going to tie that nice and tight, close to the hook a couple of times. And then, whoops, cut your shirt color. And then pull that through. Okay, we are ready to start the head, and you guys should have your feet and your legs stuffed fairly firmly and continued stuffing up to about the neck. I'm going to risk it, and I'm not going to stuff until I get to where I switch to the hair. Whoops, too many strings here. Okay, row 29. We are going to do 18 increases. So that's going to be 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around for a total of 36. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, increase 11 and 12, increase, 13 and 14, increase, 15 and 16, and as you're going around your arm strings, make sure they're on the outside, increase, 17 and 18, increase, 19 and 20, increase, 21 and 22, increase, 23 and 24, increase, 25 and 26, increase, 27 and 28, increase, 29 and 30, increase, 31 and 32, increase, 33 and 34, and your last increase, 35 and 36. Row 30, we are going to do 5 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 42. I was just about going to go in the wrong stitch here. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an increase, 6 and 7, and just repeat that all the way around. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and an increase, 13 and 14. $15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and an increase, 20 and 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and an increase, 27 and 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and an increase, 34 and 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, and our last increase, 41 and 42. Okay, rows 31 to 40 is going to be 42 single crochets all the way around. I'm going to bring my stitch marker out and just go by rows this time. So 42 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42. So that was row 31. And another row of 42. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42. So that was row 32. Another row of 42 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. And that was row 33. Another row of 42 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. So that was row 34. Another row of 42 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42. Oh, I can tell I haven't Been crocheting for a while. My wrists are getting achy. All right, so that was row 35. I can feel it all the way down to my elbows. Okay, another row of 42 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I just gotta take care of this squeaky hook. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42. So that's row 36 we just finished. Another row of 42 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. So that was row 37. Another row of 42 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. So that was row 38. Another row of 42 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. So that's row 39. So we should have one more row left. When I'm doing a large amount of rows, I like to just double check that I haven't miscounted. So this one's easy. This is a good reason to show why I like to use thread as a marker. I can go down every row and every stitch and know where my rows ended and started. So this is where I started my first row of green. So I had 2 rows before we started our 10 rows. So all I have to do is count up to the end of the first row, the end of the second row, and then I can just count how many rows I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is what we should have. So this will be our 10th row of 42 coming up right here in our last row. 1, 2, 3, 4, shoot. Oops. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, and for stitch 42 we're not going to finish that because we are going to switch to our hair color. So you're just going to leave that unfinished with the 2 loops, and then grab your hair color, which for me obviously is going to be black. And then we're just going to tie that on. Whoops. A couple of times, nice and close to your hook like before. Cut off your head color. Okay, so what we're going to do next, I think it's called a single crochet drop stitch. I did it a long time ago on a blanket, and I thought it would work awesome for his hair. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be doing, let's see, where did I start? I don't know, somewhere around here. So you're going to start with a single crochet, and then the drop single crochet, instead of going, I don't know where my thing is. So instead of going from here to here where your next single crochet hole would be, you're going to go down into your previous row, and you're going to put a single crochet in there and kind of stretch the stitch a bit. And then we're going to do single, single, and then we're going to drop down, single, drop down. It's a lot easier than I'm making it probably sound. We'll just start off slow, and maybe I am teaching you a new thing today. So let's finish off our last stitch of row 40. So we're going to start with a single crochet in the next stitch. And then for our drop stitch, instead of going in our next stitch right here, we're going to go down a row into the next hole. And that's all you do. So now we're going to do 2 single crochets. So 1, 2, and then we're going to drop down again. So instead of going here, we're going to go down 1 row and do our single crochet. And now we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch. And then we're going to do our drop down again. So not there, but 1 row down. we're just going to repeat that all the way around. I'm doing 1 single crochet between, and then 2, and then 1, and then we'll do our 2 single crochets. I'm probably going to speed up a little bit now. Drop stitch, 1 single crochet, drop stitch, 2 single crochets, drop stitch. And if you're having a hard time figuring out where to go, just go here and down, here and down. It's not here and over, and not here and over. So drop, and then 1 single crochet, drop, and then 2 single crochets, drop, and then 1 single crochet, see, even I gotta think about it for a sec. Drop, and then 2 single crochets. So if this is your first time and you're getting it, be proud of yourself, because it does take a bit of thinking here. Drop, and then 1 single crochet. Drop, and then 2 single crochets. Drop, and then 1 single crochet, drop, and then 2 single crochets, drop, and then 1 single crochet, drop, and then 2 single crochets, drop, whoops, and then 1 single crochet, and then I think I just did a drop in this last one, if I remember right. So you can do a drop or a single, whichever you prefer. And then you should have your little bumps for hair. Okay, I think I need to switch. Oh, I need to stuff mine now. So I'm going to stuff mine. I'm going to do it. Should I do it off camera? I'll start and then I'll finish off camera. You guys can stuff the rest of your head if you haven't already. And yeah, definitely be doing this off camera. It's going to be piddly because I waited so long. You guys, if you haven't already stuffed yours all the way up to the head, we're going to start decreasing in the next rows. So you want to have it stuffed to about here, just so you still have enough room to work with it. You don't want it all the way to the top, or it's a bit of a struggle. All right, I'll be back with this guy stuffed up. All right, we should all be at the same spot now. We have our little guy stuffed, partially up towards his head. And I'm going to apologize in advance because this angle is really hard for me to video. So I'm probably going to be a little fumbly. And it's going to be in black, so it's going to be a little hard to see. But if you guys have gotten this far with me, you guys will be fine to continue on. All right, so row 42, we're going to do 5 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 36 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a decrease for 6. And continue on. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12. Oops. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and a decrease for 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and a decrease, whoops, for 24. Again, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and a decrease for 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and a decrease for 36. And then we'll bring you all the way back around to your stitch marker. Row 43, you are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. And make sure you're not catching your stuffing as you're going around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and a decrease for 5. And then just repeat that. 6. Oopsie, I got a little bit of stuffing there. Somehow. So again, I'm doing 6, 7, 8, 9, and a decrease for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and a decrease for 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and a decrease for 30. Well, I need to pop a little piece in here because I actually finished him, went to start his face, and I realized I didn't have his eyeballs in. So I have taken him back to row 43, which you will have just finished, and I am going to show you where to put the eyes. So you're going to want to fold the face, And then just kind of find your center. And you're going to count down 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have my pin in the right row here. It's going to go between rows 5 and 6, going down in the green. And then you're going to count over, and I have mine like in a stitch, not in a hole, depending on how it works out for you. I'm going to count 4 holes over from my pin. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to put that eye in that hole right there. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, which I think that's this hole there, 4. And then just have a look and double check that it's even. I think it's okay. And then you're going to put your backs on your eyes. Make sure they're nice and tight and you listen for those clicks. And now, if I do this right, you should be heading back to row 44 to finish off the head. Row 44, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and a decrease for 4, 5, 6, 7, and a decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, and a decrease for 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, and a decrease. Sorry, I keep bumping the camera here. For 24. For row 45, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. I'm not used to talking this much lately. Row 45, we are going to be doing 2 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. All right, so 1, 2, and a decrease for 3, 4, I can't twist my wrist right, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, 8, and a decrease for 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for 15, 16, 17, and a decrease for 18. Now we can stuff it up a little more now if you want. I think I'm going to try and go to 12 just because I'm not the best at decreasing, and so far I'm kind of happy with my stitches, and I don't want to have big holes in the top. So give it a little stuff now, and when you do, if you do it now, kind of stretch him out to the side as you're stuffing. And I'm going to do one more row. We have 2 rows left. I'm going to do one more row, and then I'm going to stuff my head, if you want to do it my way. So for row 46, it's going to be 1 single crochet, 1 decrease for a total of 12. Oopsie. So 1 and a decrease for 2, 3, and a decrease for 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, and a decrease for 8, 9, and a decrease for 10, 11, and a decrease for 12. All right, so let's get our stuffing in there. If you haven't already, or if you have to add, and this will make him quite fuzzy on the outside. You might have to, I don't know what you could use to get the white pieces off of his black. I was thinking one of those lint, not a lint brush, but the sticky ones, the rollers, but that might fuzz up your, actually it might be okay if it fuzzed him up. It is hair, I guess. So I'm just starting to kind of push it out to the side instead of more roundish. And we are going to be doing a little bit of shaping to bring that in a little bit, so it's kind of long and oblong. So if it is round, don't worry too much about that, because we will fix it a bit more later on. But you do want to have it fairly firm so that when you shape, you are making those, let me see, so like when I did this guy's ears, I pulled them tight so they kind of brought his head in this way, and then when I did his eyes, I brought them in this way to make this pop out. Usually I go down so they look like this, but this time I didn't go down since I made such a wide neck when I started his face. So some of that we can fix later. So just make sure you have it fairly firm without stretching these black stitches. And if you do, I haven't tried it myself, but I thought you could maybe put some black felt or something in here before you close it up. I think I'm going to stop there because I do have to get my 6 decreases in there. Or we have to. Okay, so for the last row, row 47, we are going to do 6 decreases. And I like to pull mine nice and tight because I tend to get this loop, first loop gets kind of sloppy, and I think that's part of the reason I get holes in my decreases. So that's 1. So when I do that, I pull, and then I finish my decrease for 2. Another decrease. 3. Another decrease. 4. Another decrease. 5. And our last decrease. 6. And then we are just going to slip stitch into the next stitch, and we'll tie that off. Maybe a bit of a tail for sewing. I've lost my scissors somewhere. There they are. And I'm going to take my stitch marker out. If you need to add a little more stuffing in here, now is when you want to do it. I think I'm okay. I'm just taking all my stitch markers out. Alright, so grab your darning needle. And I have to say, I'm actually quite proud of myself. I don't have that many holes in there. Although I probably will now, being that it's black yarn and how much the white will show up. That might be my best set of decreases yet. So 1, we're just threading our string in and out of the top loop of those last single or decreases we did. Oops, I gotta watch the camera better here now. And then we'll just pull that tight. If anyone ever does this in the plush yarn, I'd love to see it. I think this would be super cute. I guess I could tell you right now, remind you, if you ever do want to share your stuff with me, if you go down into the description under the video, you'll see a button or like a more, and then you click more again to see the full thing. I do have a link to my craft page. It's called, I think, Art, Crafts, and Designs, or Art, Designs, and Crafts. I always forget. But it's, you can go on there and you can share what you've made. And we're just going to stick that in, and I'm going to bring it out in the black. And then give it a cut. Sorry, I want to keep going out of frame a bit at this angle. Alright, and we might as well close up this little hole between his legs here. Usually I do it when I'm about right here, but I forgot, so this is a good time to show you how to do it if you get to the end and you forgot as well. So all you're going to do is kind of spread his legs a bit, try not to stretch the stitches. And I go from my knot across, so I got him turned the wrong way right now. So Just going to grab a couple stitches here. And then I'm going to go one stitch over and over to the other stitch that matches, because that's where my knot was. So I'm one stitch over. And we're just going to slowly go back and forth, closing that little hole. Careful not to stretch these stitches, so don't pull it too tight. I might go up one here. Just whatever you feel. Just going to close it up. So you can go as many times as you want. I think that's good for me. I might go over one more time right there. Maybe in there, and in there. Okay. And make sure you're in the back. I took my stitch marker out. This is the back, because this is where we had our little t-shirt flap. Doesn't quite match up. So I want to make sure I'm in the back, and I'm not. So I'm going to go one more time to the back, and then I'm going to tie a knot. Which way am I going here? This way. And then you're just gonna put that inside. That's one of my favorite parts about amigurumi, is you do not have to really weave any ends in, usually. We will when we get to the vest, but that's not too bad. And you're gonna cut that. And we might as well do the arms next. So we're going to take our two strings, well, one first, and we're going to put that down right where our knot is, where we tied off, and our last stitches. And we're going to bring that out the back in the center, right where the neck and the shirt meet. Then we're going to do the same thing for the other side. So right there where our knot is, and our last stitch went in. And we're going to come out the same stitch we went out with the other one. Okay, I'm going to tie that one time, and keeping these strings on the right sides where they are, you're going to flip him around, and then you're going to use the back strings to pull these arms in nice and tight, however you want them. The tighter you are, the more up and out they will be, and that's where I think I want mine. So now I'm going to tie that back a couple of times. And that just keeps the arms from flipping around a little bit or getting loose. But do remember, this will relax a little bit because they're not directly across when you're tying them. And then you're just going to put these ends inside. So go in that same hole where you tied it. And then, whoop, and then just come out somewhere in the back. And we'll cut that end off. And now we are ready to work on his face. Okay, now we're going to start working on the face. So you're going to grab a scrap of green and we're going to shape the eyes or whatever face color you were using. And you're going to go down somewhere in between the eyes, just in the center. And you want to come up through a stitch right in front of the eye. And then you're going to go down just under the eye. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So just at a 45 degree in front of the eye there. And then you're going to go down under the eye. And then you're going to go to the other side of the eye and you're going to go match that stitch. Kind of get a bit of stuffing as you go. And you're going to come up under the eye. I don't know if you can see this pin that great. And then you're going to go 45 degrees from the eye, up, back up. And I'm going to come out. I'm only doing mine once. You can do it a couple more times if you feel like you need to. And then I'm just going to tie it. And as I tie it, I am going to bring these eyes closer together with my fingers, just so I'm not really stretching the stitches as much. Oops. And you just want to get kind of a little bump in there. And when you're happy with where you have it, just give it a couple more ties. And then we're going to thread that end back, whoopsie, into the back of the head there. So just in the same hole where you knotted it. And remember, you can go back and forth a few times if you want that to stay nice and tight. I'm just showing the basic way to get you there. And then you want to make sure you pull that knot through. Fix your little holes if you made any. And then you'll just cut that off. For the nose, you want to find the center line of your eyes, and it will be where you put the posts in when you attached your eyes. And you're going to go down one row, and this is where we're going to place the nose. So decide if you want a wide nose or a shorter nose, and you want to come down just a row below, and you're going to go in one stitch on one side, and then the matching row across on the other side, or stitch, sorry, leaving a little bit of a tail for tying later. And then you're just going to go around a couple of times. I stacked mine when I did this one. Usually I just go around and around. I kind of let them stack a bit, and I kind of like that a little better. So I'm just kind of guiding them so they go one on top of each other. And I think I did 3 times. Whoops. So that is 3 times. So this one I guess I'll go 4 times. And when you're on your last one, You're just going to come out where you started. Whoops. And then you're going to tie that and put your tails back to the back there. Don't pull too tight because you don't want to bring your nose any more than it is. I don't know why I can never get two of them in there. So just down where you tied your knot and out the back. And be careful not to pull it too tight because you don't want to wreck your nose. If you need to, you can kind of hold your nose stitches. And then you're just going to make sure that knot came through. I kind of messed mine up a bit. And then just cut that off. All right, let's do the piece for the brow. And you're going to want to leave a bit of a tail on the first part of your chain that you're going to make, because we'll use that to sew part of the brow on. And you make your knot with the loop on the end. And you're going to chain about 15. You may need a little more or a little less. So let's start with 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And it's all going to depend how loosely you chain. And take your guy and just kind of line it up. See if you have more or less. And so we want them to kind of curve like this around. And I think I'm going to take 2 out. So that's 14 and 13. Because it will stretch a little bit too. And then tie that off, leaving a tail on this end as well. Then you're going to tighten that. And grab your pins. And then what I did was I used the bottom line of my eyes to just go alongside, and I'll put a pin in there. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. That row just at the bottom of the eyes. And then just shape your brow how you want it. And I went kind of straight across and then curved around the eyes. So I'm going to find my center about and put a pin in there, and I'm going in the row that's just above the eyes, and then I'm going to put a pin to kind of bring the brow up and over a bit on each side. And I think I'm about 2 chains up, so it's like this. And you can play with that a little bit when you're sewing it on. So let's do that now. So I'm going to take one side and I'm going to go down and around that first row where it's sitting. And then I'm going to go up where I had that pin. And make sure if you have a big knot there that you've got that down into the inside as you do this part, because you don't want to see that knot there. And then you're just going to go up and down each row and each chain till you get to the top where your other pin is. And then back through that chain. I'm basically just going up and down, but I'm doing it 2 steps so that I know where my next stitch is going through. And then up the next chain. And then down the next chain. And then when you get to the center, I need them ending up going down, so I'm going to go up this one, and I'm going to go down this one, but I'm not going to go through the head here, because I'm going to tie that to this side when that side gets there. So let's let that lay loose for a minute. And you're going to go to the other side now and do the exact same thing. You can just double check you're going in the same row to start. So you're going around that row. I'll take my pin out. I need to get that knot down inside the stitch and then come back up. And then go back down and around the next row. Sorry, I keep going out of the camera here. And then come up the next chain. And I've pulled that over a bit, so when I go back down, I want to make sure I pull that over so it matches this side. And then I'm just going to go back to the center. I think I might have it a little bit uneven here, but we'll see. Not too bad, I guess. And then back up the next chain. And then now I'm going to go down in the same hole where my last stitch from the other side is, where my string's hanging out, and not go in the head. And then I'll tie those. And then they'll go out the back. Just loosely. And then a little tighter. Get rid of that pin now. And then down, out the back. Whoop. Okay. All right, we're going to start with the ear now. Leave a long tail, and then you're going to start your magic ring or your chain or however you prefer. It's only going to be one row in the round. And I'm just doing my knot with the loop on the end. And then my chain 1 to attach the yarn. And this time, don't go over your tail because we're going to use that. And we're just going to do 6 single crochets into our loop. So 1, 2, Whoopsie. Three, 4, 5, 6. Pull that and then tie that off, leaving a tail on the other side. We need 2 of those. So we'll make another one exactly the same. Leave a tail. Make your ring or whatever you prefer. And I'm just making my chain to attach the yarn. And then do your 6 single crochets, remembering not to go over the tail. Go 1. Oopsie. 2. 3. 4. 5 and 6. And then tie that off, leaving your tail again. Okay, and then we are going to put them on. So the first thing you want to do is decide what side you want facing. Do you want the back sides that look like this? Or do you want the front sides where you can see the little V's? And that's the side I want. So I'm going to turn it so how I want the ear to be. And I'm going to take my top string, thread that on to the top of the ear. And I'm going to go right along the top of where the eye is, and I'm going to count back 6 stitches. So there would have been a stitch here that's covered. This will be stitch 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm just kind of even with the arm. And I'm just going to go forward and around this stitch. And then I'm going to go into the first stitch of that top of the ear. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom string. But I'm going to go 1 row down from there. So I'm in this row before. So I'm going to go in this row now. Just go around to the front. And through that first stitch. And then I'm going to come up in the where this 1 stitch up, sorry. And I'm going to tie those in the back, probably twice, looks like. And then I'm going to stick that down inside, right underneath where the ear started. Whoops. So just down in there, under the ear, and then out the back, somewhere in the center. And then we're going to do the exact same thing for the other ear. So make sure it is facing the way that you want it, and take that top string. And then you're going to count your 6 stitches back. So there'll be 1 right here where the corner of your eye is, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you're just going to go under that stitch and around. And then maybe make sure that they look like they're going to be about even. They seem to be, to me. And then you're going to go through that top stitch of your chains. And you're going to grab your other string from the bottom of your ear. Then you're going to go in the next row and you're going to go down and around. Let's see. Down and around. Through that first chain on the other side of the ear. Oops, I missed a little piece there. And then under and up in the back of the ear. Then you're going to tie that just like you did the other side. Well, I got her done. I don't know why I did it that way. And then bring your knot down through that hole and out in the center where your other strings came out. And just double check you have the right strings. You want one on this side, the one on this side, and then you're going to give them one tie. And now, depending on how tight you pull this, you are going to shape the sides of his face so they come in. So just give them a pull gently. Don't force it. And if I mentioned before, if someone did this in plush, I'd love to see it. If you're using plush, be very careful at this part if you're doing this. Once you're happy with how far they're in, give it a tie again. And sorry, I don't know why this part takes me so long. Like, I'm sure the last hour of the video is just me putting the face on. But I really need to invest in a needle with a bigger hole here, I think. There we go. All right, now that you got all your strings on your needle, you just pop that down in the same hole and then go out somewhere in the back. Come on. There we go. That cut, you may have to fix the hole you just went through. Now you're gonna have to kind of manipulate his face a bit. Probably should have stuffed his cheeks out a little more, but let's see. I think I'm going to put his mouth on before I do the little bolt things. So just grab a little scrap of black. I left mine downstairs, so I'm going to get this one, a new one. And his mouth can be any way you want. I went with a wider mouth. Usually I go with like a shorter little mouth. I think it maybe looks a little cuter. But I thought a wider mouth like that was a little more Frankenstein-y looking. I did try going down a bit and making a little curve, but I didn't like the end result. And I did also try doing stitches, but I thought simple was a little better for what I was doing. So you're going to go down, let's see, 1, 2, about 4 rows from the nose. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm going to do 3. And I'm going to start mine right where his little eyebrows are ending. So I'm going to go in. And I'm going to come up that hole in that row that I chose. And you can do yours any way you want, of course. Leave a little bit of a thread there at the end. Then I'm going to come all the way over and match that under that eyebrow. And then I'm going to just come out the same hole I started in. It's a really simple little mouth. Could have left a lot more on this side, make my life easier. And you can leave it nice and loose like that, or I gave mine a little bit of a tug. It kind of brought his face in a little bit at the bottom, but be careful not to stretch these stitches too much if you do that. Actually, I think his mouth I pulled a little more than I wanted. Oh, 2 at one time. Imagine that. It must be thinner. Then I'm just going to put that out the back. Now I don't want to pull that too tight and change the shape of my mouth. I just want to make sure I have that knot in. And because it's black, you may have to poke that out of the way so you don't see it. Okay, he's getting there. Okay, grab your gray. Oh wait, I have sparkly gray. 1 second. I don't know why I didn't think of that till now. Anytime I can use sparkles. Alrighty. We're going to be chaining again. We're going to do this similar to the ears. So you want a bit of a tail. And make your knot with the loop on the end. And we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And now we are going to do a double crochet cluster of 3 like when we did the thumb into this second chain from the hook. So not this one, but this one. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook, grab our yarn, pull up, and we're going to go through the first 2 loops. We're going to do that 3 times. So that was 1, yarn over, grab our yarn, go through the first 2 loops. That's twice, and 1 more time. Yarn over, pull up and through, go through the first 2 loops. And you'll have your 4 loops on your hook, and you're going to go through all 4 of those loops. And then we're going to come back in that same stitch that we've been doing that cluster in, and we're going to slip stitch. It's tricky. Try not to get your yarn too loose. So there's 1 slip stitch, and then we're going to slip stitch in that chain just below. And a slip stitch. And then we're just going to tie off, leaving tail to tie. I don't know if that one looks as good as my first 2. And then you're just going to do that exact same thing for the second one. Leave yourself a bit of a tail. Make your loop with the knot on the end for chaining. Then you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then your double crochet cluster of 3 in that second chain. So yarn over, in through and pull up, go through the first 2 loops, that's once, yarn over, go through your chain, pull up, go through the first 2 loops, yarn over into that same stitch, grab your yarn, pull up and go through the first 2 loops. You've got your 4 stitches, or loops, sorry. Go through all 4 of those loops, and then you're going to do your 2 slip stitches. 1 in the same stitch. Oops. Come on. Oh my goodness. This wasn't this hard any other time. There we go. So our slip stitch in the same stitch as our cluster, and then our slip stitch at the end where we started chaining, and then tie off with a tail on the end. Okay, and again you're going to have to decide what side you want to face. One side's going to kind of puff out a bit, and one side's going to, I don't know, almost looks like a pocket. I'm doing this side, so you can take your top string, and we're going to go up, I think 3 rows from the neck. So 1, 2, 3. So it looks like right where the mouth is, and I'm going right under the ear. The first one I'm just going to put straight in and come out the back about the same spot, same height. And I originally put the next one down a row, but it didn't look pointy anymore. So what we're going to do, since we can't go in the same stitch because, I mean, it could pull out or we could pull it all the way in. So we're just going to take a little tiny piece of a stitch underneath, and then we're going to go in the same stitch as our first string. So that'll just kind of keep them from moving around. Because if I pulled this hard enough right now, I would pull this all the way inside to about here. So I think that works that way. And then we're going to do the same thing with the other one. Make sure you have the matching side facing you. That actually, I'm putting the not matching side because it looks better. So see, there's always rules that can be broken here. And you can count up, or you can just go around. I'm going right under the ear, in and out where I brought my other strings. Don't pull it too tight because you don't want to bring it inside your head. Whoops. Geez, I got almost all the way through without that happening. Okay, no, it won't stay. All right, we got our second part of our threads down, and remember we're just gonna go through a tiny, I can't get it, okay, a tiny little piece of a stitch and then back down the same hole. I know, I feel like I did that backwards, but it worked. And then just give them a check. Actually, I love that sparkly yarn. I'm gonna have to take the other ones off and redo them. Then, like you did with the ears, double check that you have the right strings on the right side, and then tie them once. If you want, you can bring them in. I don't really know if I need to on this one. And then give them a proper tie and out through. I knew I wasn't going to do that twice in a row. up with these ones. And pull that knot in, fix that hole. I thought we were just about done, but then I remembered we still have the vest to do. All right, and then we'll do a scar. I'll be using black. And all I did was kind of pick a area for the scar. I went down and then up into where I wanted it. Pulled most of my string through and then just angled it where I wanted it to end. And then I started putting a couple of stitches across, ignoring this little starting string for now. And if you have embroidery thread, this will look a lot better. Which way did that go? That way. Here, just put a couple stitches around. I'm just doing this fast just so you get the idea. Whoops. Well, so much for fast. And then on my last little stitch across, I come back out where I started and I tie that and thread it out the back. And then just give it a cut. Pop that little black piece in if you need to. All right, the last little piece. So we're going to do the vest and leave a little bit of a tail to go over later on. And we are just going to chain. So make your knot with a loop on the end. And we are going to chain 23. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. Row 1, starting in the second chain from the hook, so not this one, but this one right here. We are going to do 22 single crochets across. So 1, and make sure you don't twist your chain as you're going. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. And then you're going to chain 1 and turn. Now the next 2 rows have a lot going on with them, but I'm going to go nice and slow, and I'm going to separate everything across the top for you. Okay, so we're going to start with 2 single crochets. So 1 and then 2. And then we're going to chain 5. So what we're doing is we're making the arm opening. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to skip 5 stitches. So here's our last stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to single crochet in that next stitch. And then we need 8 single crochets across, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, oops, make sure I get under both sides of there, 7, and 8. And now we're going to do the same thing on this side but backwards. So we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to skip 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in our next stitch we're going to end up with 2 single crochets across. So 1 single crochet and then 1 single crochet in the last stitch. And then you're going to chain 1 and turn. For row 3, we're going to be switching to half double crochets. Our first stitch is going to be a half double crochet increase. So if you've never done one before, it's basically a single crochet, but you yarn over first. So you're going to yarn over, go into that first stitch, grab your yarn, pull through, and you'll have 3 loops instead of 2, and you're just going to grab your yarn and go through all 3 loops. So that's 1, and we're increasing on this stitch, so we need 2 in that stitch. So do that again, yarn over into that same stitch, grab your yarn, pull up, and then go through all 3 loops. So there's your half double crochet increase, and then we're going to do a half double crochet in the next stitch. And then we're going to do 5 half double crochets around this chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we're going to do 8 half double crochets across. So in our next stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to do our 5 half double crochets around this chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to do 1 half double crochet in the next stitch. And then we're going to do a half double crochet and increase in this last stitch. So 2 half double crochets. 1 and 2 in the same stitch. Chain 1 and turn. And now it should be smooth sailing. Row 4, we're going to do a half double crochet increase, 22 half double crochets, and then a half double crochet increase. So 1 half double crochet, another half double crochet in the same stitch. Now we're going to do 22 half double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whoops, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and then we'll do our increase on the end. 1 and 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. Chain 1 and turn. Row 5, we're going to do a half double crochet increase, 24 half double crochets, and then a half double crochet increase on the end. So our increase, 1 and 2 in the same stitch, and then our 24, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and then our increase at the end. 1 and 2 in the same stitch. Remember, we're doing half double crochets on these rows. 6, we're going to do an increase, 26 half double crochets, and an increase. So increase in the first stitch, 1 and 2. Now we're going to do 26 half double crochets across, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and then our increase at the end. So 1 and 2 in the same stitch. And now we're just going to single crochet all the way around. I can never decide where I want to put my first one, so I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to go down in the same stitch I was in and do a single crochet. And I'm just going to single crochet all the way up. And I'm going to be putting 3 in between each row of these lines here. So the first one I'm going to do 2. Then I'm going to go 1 in the middle for 2, and then 1 on this side of the line for 3. And then, I don't know, I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3 brings me up to the kind of the corner, and I'm not putting a couple in there because I don't want it to have a point. Now I'm going to go across the top. Just single crocheting all the way around. Remembering when you get to where the corner is, you're only doing 1 single crochet, which again is against the rules. Usually you do 2. So we're coming around there to where we started, and I'm going to be going over that tail. So just keep going around there, and then I'm going to do 2 here, I think. Now I'm on these lines again, so I'm going to do 1 on the inside of the line, 1 on the middle, and then 1 on the other inside. And I'm not going down the back. If you want it longer, you can go down the bottom. So I have to remember what I did here when I started, and I did 2 single crochets, and well, I'd chain and 2 single crochets, so I got to do 2 single crochets, and then I don't know, I'm gonna do a chain and a slip stitch and see. Hopefully that kind of works out, so they're the same. Then leave yourself a tail for weaving in. I'm just going to cut that tail we went over. I'll just kind of hide in there. And when you weave your end in, make sure you find the side that you want to be the outside. So I always go for what I call the right side of my last row of single crochets, which is this way, because I can kind of see the V's tipping at me. And in my opinion, it's a little neater, where if you look here, it's a little more bumpier. So this is the side that I want the outside. So I make sure that I weave my ends on the inside, my preference of inside. It actually might look cute the other way since it's Frankenstein. And I didn't do much else with this jacket, or vest, I guess. But you could put little fringe around. That's a lot of cutting and tying, but it would look cute. So he looks like he's got a little frayed vest. You could make a little tiny pocket. Chain 3 or 4 and then just go back and forth a couple of times. I also thought about putting little frays around his bottom of his gray pants, but I'm so far behind in what I wanted to get done. I might be skipping fall, and it seems like I'm going right to Halloween because I did nothing in August. Okay, I think that's good enough. Okay, let's try his little vest on. I think this guy is one of my favorites. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget, hit the subscribe button, because not only does that help me out, but you will also be notified every time I load a new video. And I plan on making quite a few more of these little guys. And don't forget, if you see anything in the background, I have videos for those as well. Lots of Halloween, lots of little stuff. Should be something that should interest you in here. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a great day, be safe, and happy crocheting.